17 days until this $3.5 trillion stimulus package could be fully passed, as we have a key date right in front of us. And lastly, a report out of the Urban Institute regarding poverty in 2021. Let's get into it and discuss the latest updates. Welcome everyone, thanks so much for joining me. If you're new here or if you haven't done so yet, make sure to hit the subscribe button right down below the video, as it's totally free to do so, and I am here dedicated and committed to each and every one of you, as well as this community as a whole, to help you out in any way that I can during this very difficult and confusing time with all of this information that is changing literally every single day, what seems to be like almost on an hourly basis. So thank you so much for your support. Subscribe right down below the video, and I promise you I'll be here for you every single day to keep you updated with all the latest information. Feel free to share this video or any others here on the channel with your friends, family, and social media. All right, thanks again. This $1,400 stimulus check for seniors, and we also have this announcement out of the senior Democrats in the Senate who want to send out between a $600 and a $1,000 payment for millions of people for 2022 to help cover Medicare benefits. So those last couple videos, yesterday morning, this morning, and yesterday evening, are all really good, and it covers all that information. So I've had some questions, and we talk about all the details there. All right, so let's talk about why I say 17 days from now we could have a fully passed $3.5 trillion reconciliation bill. Now let's be real. 17 days is coming really fast, right? Here we are, we're still treading water, talking about this $3.5 trillion package. Provisions are still hitting the table. All these ideas and proposals are hitting the table. The House Ways and Means Committee has been in session the last couple of days here, marking this thing up and voting on different amendments and different things like that. But it's a very slow process. So to think that in 17 days from now we could be looking at a final vote sounds like kind of a stretch, right? Well, yeah, I'm not doubting that one bit at all. So I'm not really holding my breath, and I would recommend that you don't hold your breath either on this thing, that it's actually going to be passed in 17 days. However, where am I getting the 17 days from? Well, back in late August, when Nancy Pelosi was negotiating with moderate Democrats in order to pass the budget resolution to open up the privileges of the budget reconciliation, she actually negotiated with the moderate Democrats and said, hey, let's cut a deal. Let's bring to the floor on or before September 27th the voting on the infrastructure package. So that's the promise, essentially, that Nancy Pelosi threw down for the moderate Democrats in order to get on board with this budget resolution. Well, that's coming up in only 17 days. So she said, and all these the progressives and everybody else have said that they want to pass this massive reconciliation bill side by side with the infrastructure bill. Well, if they have a scheduled vote and they plan on doing that thing, bringing it to the floor in the House on September 27th in just 17 short days, that would mean that they would also need to accompany that bill by the reconciliation bill, right? So that's why I'm saying 17 days. We'll see about that, but I would say I would almost throw down some money right now and say they're going to delay it. The reason I say that is because we know this process. We've seen it time and time again over the last year and a half, and there's a way. I guess if there's the will, there's a way that they can do it in 17 days, but do I think they're going to do it? I don't think so, but we'll see. Only time will tell. Maybe they'll hammer down over the next few days here and get some things done, but it is certainly a slow process, right? But maybe things will pick up this coming week as we have a key date right ahead of us, and that is September 15th. September 15th is the line in the sand. Now, again, this is just an ambiguous date. It doesn't mean that someone's going to be breaking the law if they go past this date. That's not it at all. But this is the line in the sand that Chuck Schumer, the leader in the Senate on the Democratic side, has drawn in the sand. He pulled out his little stick, drew a line, and pointed at it and said, now listen up, everyone. Here's the line, and we're not going to cross it. But we'll see about that. But the date on September 15th that is when they want all of the committees, as in the House Budget Committee, the Senate Budget Committee, to have all of these stimulus provisions and proposals in their possession so that they can run up a top line number on this package, as in, they have all these different proposals and they say we're going to allocate 10 billion here, 20 billion there, 600 billion there, 400 billion there. You know what I mean? And it all adds up to roughly $3.5 trillion. So they want to have all of that in by September 15th. Again, that's only a few days away. So once again, we will see about that, but I have this weird feeling that they're not going to have all the things into the committees by that time. Simply because we're only a few days out, at this point, they probably have about maybe $1.5 trillion spoken for. Maybe, probably far less than $2 trillion spoken for in that package. So in other words, they have, I would say, at least about $1.5 trillion to go as far as how they want to spend it. Now again, are they releasing all the proposals to us, the people, the public? Probably not. There's probably a bunch behind the scenes that we don't even know about yet, but I would say based on what they've released out publicly, they probably only have about $1.5 trillion spoken for. Maybe 1.7 or so. I would say it's probably far less than $2 trillion. So they have a lot of money to go and a lot of money to spend still. So what do we got to do between now and then? Of course, give them our suggestions. Hashtag stimulus checks, fourth stimulus check, monthly recurring payments, permanent raises to benefits like Social Security, SSDI, SSI, VA, RRB, and ultimately more provisions for low-income and fixed-income beneficiaries. So I hope you like the sound of that, but that is my suggestion on what they should do with some of that remaining money, right? So I think everybody probably agrees with that as well. So again, we have some key dates coming up really soon here, actually. Within a matter of less than a week, we have a key date coming up. And in a matter of just over 2 weeks, we have another very key date coming up. So a lot going to go on this coming week. In fact, this coming week here is going to be probably a very busy one. So again, I will watch everything closely and let you know. All right, let's quickly talk about this report out of the Urban Institute. Now, the Urban Institute was out with a report, and they said that poverty is likely going to hit about 13.7% in 2021. That means that roughly 1 in 7 people walking around in the country right now is in poverty. Does that seem like a good strategy? I mean, does that seem like a good, equitable way to live for all of us in the United States, which they claim is the most affluent country in the world? Something doesn't seem to make sense to me, right? In the most affluent country of the world, why is 1 in 7 people living in poverty, right? So, again, and going back to the statements out of the president, when he was actually campaigning, he said time and time again, no older adults or people with disabilities should need to live in poverty in America. Well, unfortunately, the vast majority of people living in poverty are exactly that, right? Older adults and people with disabilities. So, yeah, it's a sad situation. Once again, further building the case for why we need permanent raises to all these benefits. Like I mentioned, Social Security, SSDI, all those, things like this, and of course, a fourth stimulus check right away. Now, here's another interesting stat. As we know, this stimulus checks lifted, tens of millions of people out of poverty in 2021 alone. And as we saw from, who was it now? What's the name of that group? Anyway, I'll think of it here in just a second. There's another group, Security, what's the name of that group? I'm trying to think of it. Sorry. I should have had this on my notes. Anyway, all right, we're going to keep rolling here. I'll think of it, I promise. As I'm talking, I'll think of it. But anyway, there's this other group that said that a fourth and even fifth stimulus check would lift another millions, like another 16 million people out of poverty in 2021. So here's the thing. If they actually issued just even one more stimulus check, it would lower the poverty rate significantly in this country, right? Like significantly, the poverty rate would actually decrease. And if they issued 2 more stimulus checks, by the way, I'm not saying that they're going to issue 2 more stimulus checks. I'm just simply saying that if they just so happen to do 2, it would lift like tens of millions of people out of poverty. And now we know right now, what's interesting, this big $3.5 trillion stimulus package is what they're calling an anti-poverty plan. So does anybody see some connections here? If there's this many people, 13.7% of our population is living in poverty, and they have a $3.5 trillion stimulus package that's an anti-poverty plan, does anybody see some connections? We have about $1.5 trillion or so, according to my calculations, still available. We have 13.7 people living in poverty, or 13% 13.7% of our population living in poverty. We have money to go. I mean, should we connect the dots, right? It's like one of those little drawings that you had as a kid, right? Connect the 6 dots and you got yourself a shape or a little cute animal or something like that. I feel like this is once again one of those little drawings. Like, let's connect the few dots here, put it all together, and boom, we've got ourselves a solution, right? But maybe that's too easy for government work. I'm not really sure. It's too logical, maybe. Not really sure. But either way. So yeah, this is what we've got cooking as of right now. Again, I will continue watching everything very closely. I anticipate we're going to be getting a lot more information, and this upcoming week will absolutely be very, very important. So, of course, I'll continue watching everything very closely here. By the way, as I'm talking, I'm like running my mind here. What is the name of that group? I have the paper right here. It's just, as many of you know, I'm blind. I can't like look at it and see it. What is the name of that group? It's just driving me nuts now. It's just like, it's on the tip of my tongue. It's something security project. I know as soon as I stop recording this video, I'm going to think of it immediately. But anyway, I've talked about them many different times here in my videos. But yes, they are definitely in support. And they've even mentioned that 4th and 5th stimulus check. So anyway, something security project. I'm going to look it up as soon as I get done recording this. So I apologize. It's slipping my mind. Like right now, it's driving me absolutely nuts right now. I can't think of it. But anyway, I hope this helps you out. This is the latest update as of right now. Enjoy your day. Thanks so much for your support. Subscribe down below. And yes, by the way, I'm going to leave all that in my video because I don't really edit my videos because I'm a normal person. I forget stuff all the time. I stutter, I don't pronounce things sometimes perfectly, but guess what? I'm a normal guy, there's nothing special about me. I'm just here doing a bunch of research on your behalf, helping you out in any way that I possibly can. So, I purposely don't edit my videos just so that you can see I'm just a normal person. Nothing special about me. I'm just here, I do a ton of research, and I just want to be here for you in any way that I can. So I hope that you can connect with me like that and just recognize that, hey, this guy's real, right? He's sincere. He's genuine. That's kind of my deal. So anyway, thanks again for being here. And by the way, still haven't thought about it. I've remembered what that name is. So what is it? Man, anyway. All right, I'm going to turn this off and I'm going to look that name up. So subscribe down below, share the videos with your friends, family, social media,